Good morning. Today's recipe is for a cacao coconut custard, and it starts off with a whole tin of organic coconut milk, which I'm going to empty into the flask of the Nutribullet, and then I've got a half a cup of dates. I'm using medjool dates, which have been pitted and chopped, and those go in as well. Then I've got a quarter of a cup of, these are all exact sort of measures. This is a quarter of a cup of cacao powder, and then a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to slightly depart from this recipe, which is actually it's a recipe by Dr. Mark Hyman from his Food What the Heck Shall I Cook book. I'm going to add, or his says add some salt, so I'm going to add a little salt. Then I like to add superfood powder whenever I can to a recipe. Just adds a little bit of greens there, not to overdo it. I don't want to sort of affect the flavour. I'm going to counteract that with a little extra sweetness from some maple syrup. Just a little bit of maple syrup. And then I'm going to add some maca. I like to add maca to my recipes, especially if they're a morning recipe, which this will tend to be. Although it's called custard, I will tend to add it to, well, you can eat it on its own, because it's going to have some chia seeds in, which are going to make it thicker. You can eat it on its own, or you can pour it over things, and it's quite nice with like poured over blueberries with some granola on the top. And I'm going to get that blitzing. I think that's all I need right now. Oh, some vanilla extract. I like adding vanilla extract to most things of this nature, especially anything with cacao in it. So I'm going to give that a blitzing. It says it probably needs about a minute, so I'm going to give it 2 lots of 30 seconds so it doesn't get too warm, and get that going. Okay, I've blitzed the all those ingredients, the cacao and coconut milk. I must say it's delicious and wonderful as it is now, but it's quite liquid still. And if you want to eat it like as a dessert on its own, it has more texture if you add some chia seeds to it. The chia seeds, when they're soaked in any liquid, they form a kind of a gel, so it thickens the custard. I'm going to pour the custard as is into a bowl to start with, and then I'm going to have to whisk in the chia seeds quite quickly. The use of a spatula to clean out the flask from the Nutribullet is quite inspired, because then I get a licking moment. So now I'm going to add some chia seeds to this, and I need to get whisking quickly so they don't get it into their little heads to form clumps, and just need to give that a really good whisk. So that was a quarter cup of chia seeds I added in my little quarter cup measure. They're all whisked in now, and the original recipe says to put cacao nibs on the top, but I find I prefer to actually mix them in, because they soak up the liquid and form like little, not quite chocolate chunks, but same sort of idea. So I like to add those now. I'm not going to go completely overboard, tempting. I'm going to mix those in. I prefer to mix them in rather than put them on the top, because I find they're quite hard little things to eat as a topping. Mix those in. And then I've got at the ready a small freezer container and a larger freezer container, so I can freeze some of this. And the rest of it I'll put in a jug, then I can pour it over blueberries or eat it on its own, or add granola or do something exciting with it. I may need to get a better spoon, or actually I can use my my quarter cup, and that will act as a spoon. It could get quite messy if I try and pour, so I'm going to put some of this in the small freezer container to start with. And what happens is, so you need to leave this for 4 hours so that the chia seeds do their work and it forms a gel, and that just thickens up the mixture. Put some in this larger container. I'm not going to fill it. I'm just running out of containers because I keep using them. You could actually do my other thing, which is to put this in a silicone ice cube tray, so that you can break out a couple of cubes of it when you want it. So that's another container for the freezer, which I can just put aside. And what I'm not sure about, I think I'm going to let that stand for a while before I freeze it, so that the chia seeds get a chance to do their thing before it's frozen. And the rest of this I'm just going to put in the jug. And then that will be available whenever I want some cacao coconut custard to pour on things or to eat as a dessert. It's a bit like, you know, just chocolate mousse basically, but a healthy version. So I hope you'll give that a go, and see you next time.